Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Taylor Sheridan's forgotten Yellowstone character is so much better than Travis. Despite the Yellowstone screenwriter and showrunner's divisive role in Season 5, Taylor Sheridan has a different, more likable character within his neo-Western franchise. After significant production delays, Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, debuted with 6 episodes to close out the Dutton family saga as we know it. The second half of the final season was full of twists, but perhaps the least expected was the prominent screen time of Sheridan's Travis Wheatley, a skilled horseman and friend of John Dutton Ailey. While Travis appeared throughout Yellowstone's 5 seasons, his role in the 5th outing received opposition from fans and critics alike. The 5th and final Yellowstone season was a bold outing for the series, despite criticism that Sheridan's story ignored some characters while focusing too much on others. Still, the Yellowstone Season 5 finale was a satisfying full-circle ending, allowing the remaining members of the Dutton family to move on from their family's controversial Montana land legacy. Case settled at East Camp with his family after selling the ranch to the Broken Rock tribe. Likewise, Beth and Rip moved off the ranch to Dillon, Montana, with Carter, where the Beth and Rip Yellowstone spin-off will continue their story. Throughout Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, Sheridan appeared as Travis Wheatley, a Texas-based horse trainer and rodeo competitor for the Bosque Ranch. Travis had a close relationship with John Dutton, who bought show horses from Sheridan to bring more profit to the ranch. His prominence in the final outing didn't change after John Dutton Ailey's death. Sheridan included himself in most of Season 5, Part 2, appearing in 4 of the 6 episodes that closed the series. Ultimately, Sheridan's role received backlash because he had more screen time than expected, which might have distracted the plot from other characters. Sheridan's role in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13, was particularly off-putting. Beth traveled down to Travis 4-6's ranch in Texas to ensure the horse trainer would make an adequate profit on her family's show horses. While Beth's journey to Texas was a fun addition to the show, the segment was unfocused on the ultimate ending, while other characters' stories fell by the wayside. For instance, Sheridan's extensive screen time, partially used to poke fun at Beth, could have been dedicated to Jamie, giving viewers insight into how John Dutton's adopted son was processing his overwhelming personal and political hurdles. While Sheridan factored in disappointingly to Yellowstone Season 5, he played a different role in another Yellowstone series, one that worked much better. In the first Yellowstone prequel series, titled 1883 for the year it takes place, Sheridan plays Charles Goodnight. Charles is a cowboy who helps the 1883 cast face off with cattle thieves in Kansas City. He is close with Shea Brennan and Thomas, who lead a wagon train on the Oregon Trail that John Dutton Ailey's great-great-grandfather, James Dutton, tags along with. Charles Goodnight appears in the 1883 episodes Lightning Yellow Hair and The Weep of Surrender alongside Sam and Two Feathers, Comanche people who trade with and protect the wagon train. While Shea, Thomas, and James are all capable fighters from their respective experiences in the Civil War, a gang of cattle thieves who stole their herd outnumber them as they engage in a gunfight. Travis' character provides an assist at the perfect moment, and he, Sam, and Two Feathers fend off the remaining bandits. After their adversaries are dead, Charlie opts to stay and pray for them, highlighting his morality. Sheridan's Charles Goodnight character has a more palatable screen presence for the Yellowstone showrunner, and there are a few reasons. In Yellowstone Season 5, Beth, Rip, and Case are somewhat at the mercy of Travis' antics, since they need the money from his expertise to help make the ranch's mortgage payment. Therefore, in many ways, Travis is positioned as a savior in the final episodes of the neo-Western, which makes his misogynistic jabs at Beth all the more unsavory. Before the final outing, Sheridan mostly appeared on horseback or while making jokes at Jimmy Herdstrom's expense, which is the norm. In 1883, Sheridan also plays a hero, coming in at the last moment and saving the wagon train's leaders from dying in a gunfight. Still, upon successfully taking down the cattle thieves, Charles Goodnight credits the Comanche men he rides with for everyone's safety. Charles' humility lends itself to Sheridan's character, with Sam and Two Feathers vastly overshadowing his appearance. Thus, Sheridan's mistake in Yellowstone Season 5 was to saturate the narrative with his character, poking fun at the sixth-generation Duttons, more understated and humble appearance in 1883 works. Taylor Sheridan has brought an immense depth to the characters within the Yellowstone universe, but there's one character who tends to be forgotten, overshadowed by the likes of John Dutton and Rip Wheeler, and yet could have been the perfect foil for the drama that unfolded on the screen. This character, far more interesting than Travis, should have had a more prominent place in the narrative. Let's take a trip back and think about Yellowstone's early days, before the seismic rise of Travis. He's a character whose heart was too big for the volatile world of Montana's Dutton Ranch. I'm talking about Danny. Sure, he was a minor character, but his story carried weight. In many ways, Danny was the character that could have offered the show so much more. He was a contrast to Travis, embodying the kind of complexity that the audience craved but was not afforded enough time to witness. Danny's first appearance wasn't grand or brash. He was a ranch hand who understood the weight of loyalty, family, and sacrifice. He had this understated strength that came across in every scene he shared with Rip, who was undoubtedly the muscle of the ranch. But what set Danny apart was the emotional depth he brought into each of his interactions. His connection to the land, the Dutton family, and the real-world struggles he faced or felt subtly but powerfully. Danny wasn't a man of many words, but he made every moment count. There was a rugged gentleness about him, a sort of tenderness that allowed him to see through the hardened exteriors of those around him, especially Beth Dutton, who could have benefited from more understanding and kindness. Where Travis was mostly there to provide muscle and create a brief romantic subplot for Beth, Danny could have filled that role in a much more grounded and meaningful way. The dynamic between him and Beth would have been more emotionally intricate. Imagine a relationship that started with mutual respect, where Danny didn't try to change Beth or fight her fire, but instead saw the embers of her vulnerability that few ever took the time to understand. The chemistry would have been undeniable, and it would have added emotional weight to the show that was sorely lacking with Travis' superficiality. In contrast, Travis's character felt more like an opportunistic love interest for Beth, an easy out for her relationship struggles with Rip. He came, he conquered, and then he left. He didn't challenge Beth's values or her sense of self, nor did he push her into a place of reflection. Travis was there for the drama and some much-needed tension, but he lacked the emotional gravitas to make him more than a passing flirtation. His story never felt like it had any real purpose, and as the audience we were left wondering if he would just disappear or if he was meant to stick around for something greater. Danny, however, could have been the kind of person to draw out Beth's complexities. Imagine Danny understanding the pain Beth felt from losing her mother and how her emotional walls built up over the years. A slower burn, but one that was genuine and heartfelt. Danny could have been her mirror, reflecting back her insecurities, while also offering her a space where she didn't have to be the tough, hardened Dutton daughter. The tension and chemistry between them could have provided an emotional arc that went far deeper than Travis ever could. Moreover, Danny's character was built on loyalty, something Yellowstone always strives to emphasize in the grander context of family and ranching life. Loyalty to the land, to the Duttons, and to one another was something that Danny embodied naturally. His interactions with John Dutton would have added nuance to the father-son dynamic that was often at the forefront of the show. He could have been the ideal bridge between the ruthless world of ranching and the tender family moments that rarely made their way to the surface in such a cutthroat environment. Danny could have also expanded Rip's story. Rip, though close with John and loyal to the family, was always a man of few words, stoic to a fault. A character like Danny, with his understanding of human emotions, could have been the catalyst to bring Rip's emotional vulnerability to light. The two men, each carrying the weight of the Dutton family's legacy, could have forged a brotherhood that felt authentic and earned. We never got to see Rip in a space where he could be vulnerable or express his fears of loss, of not being enough, of being misunderstood. Danny, with his unassuming nature, would have been the perfect confidant for Rip in these moments, and that, in turn, would have made Rip's eventual transformation into the emotional rock of the ranch even more compelling.